Welcome back in today's video. So we are still on our Invoice application. Into today I've been lost for some good days. I'm actually not feeling well, but I decided to come and try to cushion on this project because I actually want this project to get done so that we can do another one. Okay, so that's why I decided to come and push. So just in case the energy is less compared to the usual energy, yeah, or even the time I'm going to record this might be less. Okay, because I'm not so feeling so well, but I will try to make sure that we really move on and make this project a success. Okay, and I want to also take this opportunity to thank those ones who have subscribed. Right now we are on 900 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. To those ones who have subscribed, it means a lot to me that you guys are appreciating the content and the effort I'm putting in. It really means a lot, and thank you so much. So let's just continue with our project. First, I'm just going to drag this nearby. Okay, and I'm just also going to close this. So we worked on the landing page, we worked on the design, the invoice, so we have at least some success. And that's why I always just tell you to use Trello, because at least you can see your success and then you see what you are supposed also to do. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this to in progress. So we're going to work on the invoice functionalities today, and then also we discuss how we are going to handle some other things. Okay, and we discuss also how we are going to handle some other things. So the first thing is that we are going to join the print and download at the same time. Okay, so this function we are going to make it in such a way that you can print or download, and if you also look at Zoho, you can see this button actually was joined. They have the print, a minute, they have the print, what is it, they have this download print. You can see they joined it together, download or print, however much here they separated them, but we can just going to make we are going to make this button, this print button, to be together. Okay, and then since we're also using this to create the preview, I don't know if we should maintain this. Okay, either if we should maintain this, I'm not so sure. But we can just leave it there. But we are going to first join this one. So I'm just going to go to where there is print. I'm just going to go to where there is print. So let's go to our and by the way, there is one thing I want to talk before we start. Let me refresh. So whenever we refresh, there are these 3 errors that come here, and if you check them, they are actually about hydration. Now hydration normally is one big problem that normally happens if you're having server-side rendering and also client-side rendering. Now that is the typical Next.js problem, whereby you have the server side plus the client side. So if you look at what they are trying to say in this, if you just look at it, they are saying that the hydration failed because the initial UI does not match what was rendered on the server. Expected server HTML to contain matching table in the div, blah 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 blah. So at first, when they are submitting the UI, let's just discuss this to understand this hydration error in general, what it always means. So what happens is, one, if you just look at our components, So you see all the components which has no use clients, those ones are by default server components. So if you just go to invoice, so if you just go to invoice here on top, so this is a client component, meaning that this was actually not there. Okay, so by the time they render the app, these things which are saying client means that they are coming actually from the client side. Okay, so and one thing is on our table is also that uh, on our table here, what is the table? Form table. So you have the form table, and this is where the problems are coming from. Like we are creating this whole entire table. Okay, this whole entire table is being created on the client side. Okay, if you check this, I think we also need to make this one, I guess, a client side. Okay, just say use client. Let's see if this could solve our problem anyways. So let's just go and see if this could make problems better, but I'm just going to anyways explain this. Okay, so if you have and the problem seems to be solved, let me refresh. Yep, so the problem seems to be, nope, it is still there. Okay, just explain this error in general. So what happens is, one, if you're having these components which have use client and they have this use client, these ones, they come from the client side, they are not rendered on the server side, or they are not rendered when the app loads. Okay, they are rendered later when the app has already loaded. Okay, so if the app loads and then there is a new HTML that has been injected into it, for instance, this table is coming afterwards when the app has already run. Okay, then the Next.js will tell you that what was rendered on the server is not what they are finding on the client, meaning that, for instance, this table they are talking about has been actually injected in it, like they find it on the side of the client. I don't know if you get this, but you can just go and read about hydration, what it means. But what it means that when the app loads, the Next.js renders all the components that are server side. Okay, so it renders all those components, and now after it has rendered, now it compares also what is in the browser. There is what was sent by the server. So the server sends an HTML to the browser, and then they also compare what actually was rendered in the browser. Okay, but then when they find what they sent, they did not send when this table is inclusive, since this is a client component. Okay, so if it is a client component, that means on the time when the server was sending, this component was not there. Okay, now what that means is that when you inject it in HTML, so they go and compare the server, what was sent on the server, and what was found to be rendered on the client. They find there is an addition of the table, and then they give this error because they are trying to protect you from maybe someone injecting something that was not to be. Okay, so some people maliciously, they can inject the HTML from the front end. That's why they give you this error. Okay, so most times you can try to troubleshoot where the problem could come from. Okay, but if you cannot find it, maybe to suppress this error, you can actually add this line here. This suppress hydration warning. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you can just suppress this error, and let me just copy that prop. Okay, so you can say use the suppression hydration warning prop. If you're using a client library that is not compatible with Next.js, you can use suppression hydration warning prop to silence the hydration warning, but this will This will prevent the error from being displayed, but will not fix the underlying problem. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that the problem has been solved, but just to actually suppress these errors being shown. Okay, what I'm just going to do is just go to the layout here and try to put that key here on the HTML, just like this. Okay, sometimes it takes it, sometimes it fails, so don't put so much hopes on it. Okay, so that is not a big problem right now. There's like the hydration, it always happens most of the times. Let's just work on this. First, I'm going to join these buttons to one. Okay, I'm just going to join those buttons to one, and I don't know which one we should use. We should use this print. Let's use the print. So just go to the page here, go to the page, and let's find where we have the save. So we have save online. Just go here, so we have the preview button, and then you have this print. So I'm just going to say print. I'm just going to put stroke download. As simple as that. I'm just going to put a stroke download, and then I'm just going to remove this other button for the download. You can actually simply mute it just like that, and then I'll just have one now button having print stroke download. Okay, so that is cool. So next, let's just implement actually the download, like the print functionality. Okay, just put this print functionality, then later on we just go to these two. So the print functionality you want, if someone clicks print, then it should just open up a window where someone can print or save the PDF. Okay, now first of all, there are so many solutions to this, and that are really maybe complicated, or right now converting a component into a PDF on a click is not that easy. The libraries that is there and somehow robust is actually React to print. Okay, you can just go and read at React, and no, not React to print, but React to PDF. So there is React to PDF. Okay, there is this React to PDF. They even have this whole website written on React to PDF and their npm this React to PDF. Now the problem with React to PDF that actually I found is that if you look at the package, how it works, if you look at how this package works, if you scroll down, just go to this documentation. So if you just look at how it works, they are actually having their own HTML. You have to use their document. Okay, use this whole thing of document. They have this document component. They have the page component. They have the view component. They have the image component. Okay, they have all these components. Okay, they have all these components that they want you to use to actually build the invoice. You cannot use your own HTML to build like a table like this. So everything you have here, you have to actually go and build it using these stuff here. Their components, the view, the page, the document, and the image, all these ones. But then they don't have a table. Okay, so you have to find a way of doing the table. So guys, you can't just try it. I'm not going to use it because it is so much a hassle actually to do that, and they're the only ones who have tried to put maybe a robust solution. I would actually just suggest to build our own PDF, our own PDF reader. That would be really something, just sitting, maybe using Puppeteer and some other tools, and we put together to build like a PDF, or just even maybe building a plugin the way we used the way we did for this image upload. So you see, like, this image upload is being taken care of the what is being taken care by Cloudinary. So it would be good if you have, like, you create a maybe a Google Chrome plugin that maybe uploads this, creates a PDF out of this. I don't know, but right now what you're just going to do is we are going to use a React to print. Okay, so just type in React to print. So just going to try to use React to print to see if we can actually have that window for, and be careful with this React to print, the documentation. Just click or maybe onto this second one, this one maybe. Okay, and even this one, their GitHub, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so just scroll down until you see this one, which has the this here, that logo there, and we are going to just try to use this one. So let's first install it. Okay, so just simply npm install just like that. I'm just going to open a new terminal here, and we see. So just simply install that, and let's go back as we discuss how this one is going to work. So if you see, they have even a demo. You can just go ahead and see the demo. Okay, but they say the component accepts the following props. So they have a tons and tons of props. Okay, just scroll. Now they have two ways here to handle this. They say if you need an extra control over printing and don't want to specify the trigger directly, you can use this print context consumer. And then they have also this React to print. Use this hook. They have this hook called use React to print. So for the functional components and the ones we are using, use React to print hook, which accepts an object with same configuration props as React to print, and it returns the handle print function, blah 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 blah. Okay, so you can just go ahead and read the documentation. If there is one thing developers have to understand, is that reading a documentation is part of us. You don't have to complain, I haven't used this library before. Simply go to actually the documentation and read how it's supposed to be implemented. The more you implement some, the more you get experience on adding others. So if you just come to examples, they have even here in Sandbox, and we don't want these ones where they're using the class components. Okay, we just want example where they used actually the functional components. So if you continue scrolling, there is where they actually said calling from a functional component with use React to print hook. So after you have installed this this plugin, as we can see, it actually successfully installed. Let's just go ahead and see if we can put this to work. So the first thing is to import the use ref, and then also importing this hook from React to print. So just grab this. Okay, grab that. So let's just go on top here somewhere. You can just put this import use React to print from React to print. That is the first thing. And two, now you see, if we are importing this component, they have named it very well, component to print. So you have to have the component you want to print, and then you first initiate a use ref, or you create a reference for this component, just like this. So I'm just go ahead and create this use ref. So you can just say const component ref is equal use ref. So inside here, okay, anywhere here on top, maybe here, I'm just going to put const component ref. Now you could just say name any other name here, it doesn't matter, but I'm just going to say maybe the invoice, the invoice ref. So I'm just calling it invoice ref. You can call it any name, it doesn't matter actually, because you will just still use it. You can just go and create this component, but I'm just going to first go and actually map this ref we've just created on top here. You have to map it to the component that you want to print. So just say ref here. So just go to the component and then you define this ref we put here. So I'm just going to copy this invoice ref, go to actually our component, which should be down here, which is this one. Okay, now for the purposes of being on a safer side, I'm just going to copy this and I put it into a div. So I'm just going to do this, put it into a div, just like that, and then inside this div is where I'm just going to put this inside, and then I'm just going to put this ref here. So you say ref, and then just like this, just put invoice ref. Okay, invoice ref. Make sure this is the same as the one that you defined on top here. Okay, so now we have now mapped to our ref, and we have just said this ref. A ref is actually just the way how you can select things in React. You can use ref instead of using, for instance, elements.get element by ID. Here actually we use ref. So when you just create something like here, you initiate a reference, and then you go and then give this reference something like this. This maps it the same way how we use get element by ID. Okay, now we just go ahead and to our print function, we give it this handle print function. Now let's first go and get this handle print function. So on the handle print function, you can see it is a simple function. Just copy it. Okay, and I'm just going to say it comes from, so const this, just copy this the way it is, handle print function, and let's just go on top here. Down after this, you could just, after the update data, you could just come and put this handle print function. Okay, so they say they're using use React to print. You can see they're using this hook, use React to print, and then they are giving it the content, and then on the content they are giving the ref.current. So just change this to invoice ref. So this has changed to invoice ref dot invoice ref dot current. So this will help select actually the actual invoice, and then they pass it to the handle print function. Now let's go to our button and actually put this handle to print. So you can see on click, just simply handle to print. Let's just go to our print, and then we pass this function and we see what we are going to get. So on top here we have this button, just add this on click, and then we pass the handle print function. Okay, so if we go back here, let's see if you have some errors. So use ref. So use ref, it comes is a React hook. So let's get this use ref. So you can just simply go to here and just on this one place space bar. So you just place the mouse at the end and press space bar, and then they will suggest for you to use ref from React, and then you can just import like this, click on it, and then if you just go on top here, you will see that the use ref was actually gotten from React with the use state. Okay, so this should now remove this problem. Now it seems everything to be okay. Now let's just try to fill in some things and we see if we have any success stories. So I'm just going to first upload again, and your separation, hydration, they are still there, but we're not going to focus on them. Okay, we're not going to focus on them. Maybe after you have made the app, we can troubleshoot and find out exactly what is the problem. So here I'm just going to go ahead and upload the logo. Okay, And by the way, we had said to work on this problem of this upload, because when you click on any other parts onto this, they are actually not working. The only thing that is working is this upload thing. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is the problem is that this word upload is actually on the actual button. You might just need to there is no way how to customize. From what I know, you could just go to the upload button. Let me just, yeah, for a second, when I say it is on Next Cloudinary, so you could just go to this Next Cloudinary, and maybe I want to see the props to this the button, the upload button. If you look at the configuration for this button, there is no much things that actually go as the prop onto this one, meaning that even the we cannot even rename it. Okay, we cannot even rename it. So the only solution you can do right now here is removing these all these titles, and we put these titles onto this one. Okay, this actual the actual upload. The problem is that we cannot now use the icon and this text within inside here. The only thing we can just put is actually this background we can put, and this, even this border we can actually put it. So if you mind about the icon, it might be just bad news, but you can still actually do that around. Let's just go to the upload for a second. Okay, you could just go to the upload here on this image, and let's see. So all these things that are onto the label, okay, all those things that are onto the label are supposed to be actually given to this button itself. Okay, they're supposed to be put onto this button itself. You can give a class to this. Okay, for instance, if I just say class name, and then I say maybe text red, maybe to 600 or something. Let's see, like, if this actually changes something. But you just remember, you can actually go ahead and customize this. You can go ahead and customize this by removing it from this whole thing, the label. Okay, you can just go ahead and cut this. Let's see. First of all, before we remove it, let's give it some classes, because right now it is using this text gray. We could also give it actually this text. Let's just copy these classes the way they are, text sm, and even this. Let me just first cut this and put it to this button. Okay, and then I'm just also going to go to this div which says flex blah blah. I just need to get this label class names. Okay, these ones that are onto the label, just copy these classes. There are so many, just maybe we could just cut them or copy. Okay, and then you could just come and put them onto this button, just like that. And let's try to cut this button. So you could just remove this button from, but of course you could just leave your button inside there. It doesn't have any problem. Only at accessibility issues when you are trying to actually click, and some parts when you click them they don't actually click. It's something which can be frustrating to the user. So instead it is just you design the actual button itself. Okay, so let me just try to get this out. Okay, so this whole thing here. Okay, this whole thing here, where is it? This whole label thing. Okay, so you could just actually put maybe a div. Okay, just put a div just like that, and then inside this div you put this button. Let's see how bad it becomes. Okay, not so bad. Okay, now the good thing is it is just looking like this, but if you click anywhere onto this, it should be able to upload. So if I click anywhere in the button or on the sides, I don't know if you notice that. So if you click in the corners anywhere, now it uploads, but you cannot actually change this text here. I will just try to see if there is a workaround of actually renaming this or even adding things within it. But right now, let's just work with this. So click on upload. Let's try to upload some things here. So just go to browse. Let's browse and put our logo. So just go to downloads. I guess I have a logo there that we put last time. This one, just click open and done. It should just upload our logo easy like that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put this one. I'm just going to fill in some details here. Okay, I'm just going to put in some details. Build to let's just say I'm building maybe Google client address, and just change here to whatever. I'm just going to use maybe Tenkai. There's any name you can just come up with. Client address, let's just say they are in client's address, let's just say they are in where you get it, and city is still maybe Kampala, or it could just be Mukono, whatever, and then country is still Uganda. Okay, invoice number, and now invoice number you could actually automatically generate this one using like a UUID library. I don't know if you guys know about this library called UUID npm. So you could just go and plug in that one. Just use it as a challenge to see if you can actually generate a new invoice number for a client if you want, and you can put a button. It is not very hard to actually use. You can see it generates here the UID, or you could even just write a simple function which generates a random number. Okay, but right now just not focus on to that. They just continue. There is this invoice number, so just say 003. Okay, and then the date, month is invoice date. They just say it is going to be month of this date 13 2023. Next, it can be just a month of maybe December 13 2023. Okay, and then just go and add some rows. Okay, let's say web design, quantity 1, unit is 3,000, and tax is 0. Add a new line, and let's say item description is going to be logo design, maybe 1 at maybe 500, and then we have that. You could just go ahead and add many items, but just work with this. So now let me just go and create invoice, and this will actually go and put our preview, and we see we have a nice preview as we design this. Okay, now what we want is actually to click on print and see if it can get this and try to print it. So click on print. Yep, and it opens up the print. And let's see now if it actually chooses not to add these other buttons. Wow, so you can see here it actually tries to print this, and it nicely put it into the A4, and even our gaps are right. So you can just go ahead and print this, or you actually just go here on the destination, you click on save PDF. Okay, so if you just click on save PDF, you will see that this it becomes actually just like an actual PDF, and you can click on save. It opens here or wherever, and you can just see my invoice. Okay, my invoice, and that one is actually downloaded. Okay, they just go to our downloads. I'm just going to go to my downloads and see if actually this was saved there. Just open one file here so that I can just go to my downloads, and you can see I have my invoice. Let me try to open this. Okay, and see if our data is actually there. So meanwhile, if you have any better solutions that can maybe generate a PDF URL, that would be even much better. If you have that solution where you have any third-party library that when you use it, it can generate for you a URL, that would be a really good one. Okay, but for now, this React to Print is going to work for us because people want to download or print, they can easily do it using that that functionality. And then other functionalities, we are going to see how we are going to achieve them. So it is still opening here. I really want to see how it looks like, if it is actually a really nice looking actual PDF. Okay, let's see. Yeah, good. This is good. This is good. This is really good. This is really good. It has really picked very well all our details. You can see everything, the data we pushed in, everything was captured really very well. So this is a really nice thing, putting it in your application. Man, if you just building whatever you are building there, and you put this to your application whereby people can print, it is really nice thing. Okay, so now let's just talk about the saving. Okay, let's talk about the saving online and actually sending. So the approach would be, if it was very easy to generate a PDF, would be, for instance, on saving, we could save all this data into the database. Okay, after saving this data to the database, now we actually get we now generate, on sending, we generate a PDF URL, and then we send on the email this PDF URL to the client. Okay, but now the only problem that is there is that it is very hard actually to convert a PDF and then you get its URL back. Okay, so instead what you are going to do is, we are going to generate a place where actually you can have access to this. You get, so you don't need actually to have a PDF. You have seen in most places actually you have a page where you can actually have access to this page, just like this invoice, the way you are seeing it here. Okay, so this is going to be like an invoice when someone visits this particular invoice. So what you are just going to do is, we save it to the database. So before someone actually saves the database, he should not see this. He cannot send, or if he clicks on send, we are going to still first save on the database. Okay, so you're supposed to first get all these details, save them to a database. So when someone clicks send, instead you send them a URL to this invoice. Okay, that is the technique we are going to use, or that is the approach you are going to take to this. We generate, for instance, the way you see this one. We are not going to, of course, use this one. We are going to have, for instance, localhost 3000 invoice, maybe stroke. So here, instead of new, we'll have maybe an ID here. Okay, we have ID here, where we can just have this a unique ID that is generated for this specific invoice. Okay, that's what we are going to use. Now I feel like we could also still use this UUID. Okay, where is the UUID? This package, because of generating these unique IDs, these long IDs. Really, they are nice. I feel like we can just add one thing here. Okay, we're just going to see that. We just install this, and then we try to use it and see how we can actually use it in our application, so that we just actually store it. So the functionality for this is done. Okay, we are remaining with actually the send and save online, which we'll actually just start working on. So what you're just going to do right now is one. So I had written out this documentation. I remember you still have this access to this URL if you have been watching. By the way, if you're liking the content, please just subscribe and share the content with others. Now, we are going to use Prisma and Supabase. Let me just open here Supabase. Now, in my video, I've used MongoDB a lot. So I feel like we should use a different database, or I should show you how to use a different database. So I've been using MongoDB. So videos for Prisma and MongoDB on my channel, they are there. So I wanted to try out to show you actually if we can use another database, for instance Supabase. Okay, so Supabase, if you just even see here what they have defined it, is an open source Firebase alternative. And by the way, if you want to see content that is related to Next.js and Firebase, guys, you can tell me in the description. And if you also have any other SaaS idea, or you have a project you want us to work on, just simply write as a comment and comment your project you want us to build. Okay, I will definitely try to dive in and build that project, because it helps me so much to diving into these complicated or advanced things with you, and we learn together. Okay, so let's just look at Supabase. If it's your first time to see Supabase is also provides a database the way you see Firebase, but it is built on top of my not Postgres. So you can see Supabase is a Firebase alternative, and it is built on top of using Postgres database, and they provide authentication, API, edge functions, and other things. Okay, so of course we'll try to use this one in our project. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is working on Prisma. Okay, we are going to use Prisma. And if it is your first time to use Prisma and you feel like you need to move slow, you can just go to some other videos of mine where I use the Prisma, but I will try to explain it step by step in this video so that you don't get lost. And speaking of Prisma, it is always good to use the actual documentation. Now, the things I was putting here, actually most of them are with MongoDB. Okay, I wanted to use MongoDB, but later on actually I decided to see if we can actually use Supabase. Okay, so let's just go to Prisma. So just go to the browser and you can go to prisma.io. Okay, we can go to prisma.io and see the documentation, move a step by step. So click on quick start. Okay, now when you click on quick start, they always give you two choices: adding to an existing project and start from scratch. So if you click on start from scratch, of which we want to start from scratch, just click start from scratch. They give you two options still. They give you to use a relation database or a MongoDB. So if you're going to use MongoDB, definitely just click on MongoDB. If you're going to use relational database like the one we are going to use, so relational database, the difference between relational databases and actually non-relational databases like MongoDB and Firebase is that they actually store the data in documents, while in relational databases we store documents in tables. Okay, tables and columns. That is the difference, first difference between the relational databases and MongoDB. And if you click on relational databases, you will see that there are actually so many. First of all, change this from TypeScript to JavaScript. Okay, and then you can see by default they set it to Postgres. So you could just come here and you just have like MySQL. So you can use MySQL. Okay, and there are so many databases they have there, and one you can see there's CockroachDB, there is PatternScale, and then there is Ray. If you want to jump in it, you can also go and try like Ray. Okay, ray.app. Okay, we'll sing it here. Yeah, so you can just use this ray.app. You could just go to ray and try to actually create a new app. This ray is also built on top of, I think this one is also Postgres, or it is I think it's Postgres. Let's see, somewhere down they must be talking about it. So Ray is also another good one that you can try to use these things with. Okay, but you simply just come and create a new project. You can just go into the docs and blah 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 blah. They will show you how to set up everything here. So just try out new things, try out new things, and it makes you a good developer in reading documentation and implementing. Okay, so you can use Ray. I'm just going to use Supabase in this example, but you can try all these ones and see how you can set up. And the only thing you just need from these databases, if you're using Prisma, is really a connection stream. That's all. Okay, so just continue with these relational databases, and we are going to be moving step by step as they recommend. Okay, so of course the first thing is to install Prisma. Okay, you must install Prisma, and they see here to install installation to install Prisma using a different package, blah blah. So it is npx. You can invoke Prisma CLI by using npx blah blah, these things here. I'm just going to use the commands that are here. Where is my documentation? Just these first ones here. Just use this to install Prisma. So I'm just going to copy this command and just go to this command line. Let me just move it up like this. Let me clear. Okay, just clear like that, and let's start working onto this. So first install Prisma. This one is to install Prisma, just like this, and let's move on to the next step. Another one, you have to install the Prisma client. Okay, and I will be using also this one. Okay, so you can see actually the steps are here. Yeah, I was looking for this step, I was seeing it. So this is the one we have run. npm, of course we're not going to do npm in it. We already have package.json. Just simply add npm install Prisma save dev, and this is going to install Prisma, as you can see here. Let's just give it some few minutes for it to install, and you can see it is getting done. Okay, just wait for it. So the second command we are going to run is actually npm. This one, they say you can invoke the Prisma CLI by prefixing it with npx. Okay, So the next step is actually to init. So next step is to set up your Prisma project by creating the Prisma schema file with the following command. So you're supposed to initiate a Prisma project by writing npx prisma init. So just copy this command, npx prisma init, and just come here. Let me clear. So just say clear, and then we can just run npx prisma init. And I want you to take note on this app. Let me minimize everything so that you see it's going to create here two things. Since we already have the .env, it will not create it, but this will create a new folder here. If I just run this npx prisma init, I want you to see here is going to create a new file, actually a new folder with the schemas. So just wait for it. Okay, let's just wait for it. Okay, so they have created here a new folder called Prisma, and actually they tell you exactly what you should do. Here, your Prisma schema was created. Now you can open it, blah blah, and then next steps: set your database URL in the M file, and set the provider in the database source, blah blah. All these things here, they give you the guidance. Now if you open this Prisma, they have a file inside called Prisma schema, and this is why you actually define the type of fields that you are going to be submitting to the database. And if you see, by default it actually uses Postgres. If you are going to use MongoDB, it is good you prefix this npm init. If you just look at it here, prefix npm npx prisma init, and you can pass in data source provider to be MongoDB. Okay, so just continue with the documentation. So now after you have done that and you have initiated, now they tell you to connect your database. Okay, so this is the file we have. We have the data source here. You are supposed to get a connection string now from your database provider you have decided to use. Any relation database will give you a connection string, and if you're using Postgres, it should be in this format. So to get our connection string, that's where we are going to use Supabase. Okay, so you just head to Supabase and see how we can get the connection string. First thing, if now for me I'm logged in, that's why you see here they are showing me to go to dashboard. For you, you should just simply register and use your GitHub. I think you can use let me try to log out actually so that I show you what I use to log in. So you can see you have to use your GitHub to sign up. So sign up with your GitHub, and then after you have signed up, they are going to lead you to a dashboard where you can create a new organization and also create a new project. Okay, I'm not going to create a new organization. I already have two organizations, this and this one. Okay, but when you click, you can create a new organization. And organizations, you see I have two organizations, but they will first show you that you can create a new organization. Go ahead and create it, and then they will take you to creating a new project. The same thing the way we do inside the MongoDB. We always create a new project. So I'm just going to click on here, create a new project, and you see they give you a choice here of choose from these organizations you have, or you could create a new organization. Okay, so go ahead and create a new organization. I'm just going to maintain this sub. Now when you come here, by the way, when you are choosing the organization, choose a free plan. Okay, choose a free plan, don't use a paid plan. A free plan can still work on this. Okay, so down here I'm just going to say they're saying create a new project. Organization you can still change from here, and let me just click on accept, and then there is some problem here. You can see here it dedicated instance for database, blah 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 blah, and they say The organization has members who have exceeded their free project limits. The following has reached their maximum limits of the free plan projects within the organization where they are administrator or owner. So you can see they're saying here they give you free to two free projects. Okay, so what you can do, let me just cancel here. I'm just going to come here and maybe try to actually delete some of these ones and see if it is very possible to delete this. Okay, let me just go here to this test one and let me try to see if it is possible to delete a project. And project settings, and then there is this delete this project. Let me try type test. I'm just going to test just like that. Delete this project and see if they give me an option of creating a new one. Since I will not be having the project, I can just go ahead and also even delete this one, but let me just leave this one. Let me just go ahead and click now create from any of these ones. Now you can see now we can create a new project since we have deleted the other one. So that is also something, because in MongoDB you have unlimited choices. Now here they give you two free projects. Okay, that is also something to think about, you know. But of course they have a real-time database, that's why they have to limit to two. Anyways, I'm showing you how to use if you are working for a company, or they would be able to pay, and that will not be your problem. For now, if you're a freelancer, it is good to try out new things. You try to know how it works. Otherwise, how would you know, or how would you use it in a project if you have never used it? So I'm just going to give a project name. I'm just going to say Invoice, Invoice app. Okay, and then database password. Just click on generate a password. So they will generate a password for you. Just copy this password and let's try to go to our environmental variables. By the way, if you check in the environmental variables, we had only this next cloudinary name, but now you see the Prisma actually inserted this. They even tell you this was inserted by Prisma in it. And the only thing they did for you, they added this database URL. So down here, I'm just going to paste my password for now. Go back and let's continue. Make sure you copy this password, you not see it again. And then you can also choose the region that is nearby you. And let's go ahead and create a new project. So after this, it takes in some like 1 minute or 2 minutes to create and initiate the new project. Okay, so you see they will have this name of the project, Invoice app, and it is being initiated here, setting up your setting up the project. So just take some few seconds or few minutes to finish up, and we're just going to wait and see it creating it. So I'm starting with this part whereby we are setting up the Prisma, because that is the part that needs to be actually when you are still so much. So but I don't want to mix it with the when we are sending the data to the API routes and all that kind of stuff, and then you get lost. I want you to get to this part very clearly. Okay, so right now we are setting up our project. And then after, what we need from Supabase right now is a connection string that looks like this. So they show in our database URL, this is the only thing you need from Postgres. Now from Supabase, it is also under it uses Postgres, so it will look like this. If you have used MongoDB, then you could also it means here in the schema for you will be having MongoDB. And even the database URL, you will also get it from MongoDB. Okay. Okay, so it seems it has created our project. It has now fully created. So what you just do is just click on this setting, project settings. If you just over here, click on project settings, and then just scroll down to where you see database. So just click here on database, and then you can see they show you the host, DB name, port, user, and even this password thing. So just scroll down until you reach on this which says connection string. Okay, now on the connection string, simply click on URI. Okay, and then copy this connection string, and just before you paste it onto this one, I want to paste it down here. So this is how it looks like. Okay, and if you just check it here, you will see that you are supposed to insert your password. Okay, so let's just copy this. Let me just put it where this one is. What it is your password, let's go ahead and put our password. Okay, so you just remove this and just cut this password and just go to exactly where there is this password and just place it there, just like that. So now this is our database URL now from the Supabase. That is really a very important step. So after finishing that, now we have gotten our database URL, and I'm following this. Just click here using Prisma migrate. Okay, so now before you do Prisma migrate, you must create a schema. Okay, you must create a what? You must create this schema. Sorry for that. You must create a schema, a database schema that is having your tables that you want. So now on this schema, let me just go back to our invoice. So if I just go back to our invoice here, you see we have two types of information. Okay, so we have this invoice data. This one is actually the invoice data. Now another thing we have also is actually this whole thing. Okay, this table. Now you may think this table is the same, but this table actually is somehow different because we actually have this array inside here. So whenever you have an array inside some data, let's say you are having categories, and then inside the categories you are going to be storing their products, that one tells you that is defining two models. Okay, or you can separate them into two models. Now we are going to talk about models in a second, but what we want to do in database, we want to store all these fields here. Okay, and then at the same time we want to actually store this invoice. So the invoice table is going to be saved in its own model, or it's in its own table. So this one is going to be the table containing the invoice table, and then we also have all these other details from the staff, because there is no way you can save an array inside the database, more especially a relation database. It is very hard, and I think it is not possible. The easy one is to create a new model that is going to handle saving of these table fields, and then we allocate them that they will have an invoice ID. For instance, this invoice, let's say it has an ID 1. So we'll have table rows, okay, like these table rows, who belong to this, which belong to this invoice. Okay, so we are going to create two models. One is going to be the invoice itself, and inside the invoice, each invoice can have multiple rows for the table. Okay, so that is a relationship you are going to create between the invoice and the rows. Okay, so I went ahead and tried to create for us the values we want. So you can, if you look at the form, you just drag this nearby. We have company name, company your name, company address, city, country, and all these details we want to get them, and these are the ones that are going to be inside the invoice. So we are creating the models. Just go to this model here. Okay, so we have to set up the model. The first model, as you said, is going to be the invoice. So just copy this from this. You'll find the link in the description, and then I will explain it. Just simply go to our schema, and let me paste this. Now for now, let me just actually first remove this, So creating a model is actually comes from your form. Okay, it should come from your form. Where is the form? Here, the form inputs you have, all this data you have, the company name, these ones are the ones you want to save in database. After all, we are going to be picking them from there. So the ones you come and put here. Company name is a string, the invoice author, company address, company city, company country. Just go ahead and put all these ones, including even the logo URL. Now, if you check on it, we have these. By the way, there's one thing that I want to add is the invoice name itself. I don't know if we should use the client name as the invoice name. We could just give actually the invoice. Let me first go to edit form. Okay, we could have somewhere the name of the invoice where someone can feed in the name of the invoice. There is nowhere we have the name of the invoice here. And by the way, if you had some details to add on, let me first go to back to this Zoho thing. They still have the notes here. Okay, they still have notes and terms and conditions. Okay, and even this footer. I guess this is something you can just go ahead and add on. This shouldn't be really hard. Okay, this shouldn't be really hard. Maybe we could add the notes. Okay, let's just try to do that. That shouldn't be hard. Just in let's first finish this one. I feel like we are leaving it in between. Let's just first finish explaining this. So all this is going to have, the invoice is going to have an ID, company name, and all these details, and then it also have actually the table data. Okay, so the invoice has this field which is an array of rows. Okay, so you say define a one-to-mention to the row. This is the table data is going to be for the row or the table rows. Okay, so if you go to a table, you'll find that a table has the item description, quantity, unit price, tax, and the amount. So let me just go and grab the row. So if you just check down here, you just simply have to also get this. So down here, just simply paste this. Now if you check the table, so the table row actually has this, it has also its own ID, and it's going to be auto incremented. So the ID is going to be at default auto incremented. So we have item description, we have quantity, unit price, tax, amount. Now we have the invoice ID. So this invoice ID, actually it is the one which is mapping this row you create, and you are mapping it back to this invoice. Okay, now you have to define where does this invoice ID come from, this invoice ID, because if you see, is type of integer, but we are not sure where actually is going to come from. We are not typing it in. So we have to map it to the invoice. So down here, you create this new field called invoice, and then you say it is of type. This ones you are seeing here is data types. Now it is of type invoice. Okay, this is of type invoice. Now you create what you call a relationship. So in a relationship, use the keyword at relation, and then inside it you define two things: the fields and the references. The fields, they are actually referring to the fields, one of the fields within this model, and then the references is referring to any other, which is actually this one. So you say this invoice ID, which you have put here on fields, comes from this reference. This reference ID means is the ID in the invoice. So if you just come, this reference invoice ID will be ID, and this ID is actually the ID to this invoice, which is this one. Okay, I know it is somehow hard to wrap your head around if it is your first time to see relations or relationships. but that's how it works. You must define an invoice ID, and then you just actually come and specify where this invoice ID is going to come from. It comes from this invoice model. Okay, so after we have done this, that's why you want us to add one more field, maybe the invoice name, and also we could also go ahead and put some fields down here, the ones I'm seeing onto this one. And why not? You just do it as an assignment, guys. I'm not going to put it, just use it as an assignment, why not? But it is not hard, just adding these two after we have completed this complicated one. That one is really definitely not hard at all. Okay, so I'm just going to just do it as an assignment, but it's simple to go to your page, go to your invoice page here, and then first of all you just create these, just come and put them here. Okay, you can just put them there, and then you could just concatenate, not concatenate, get these, define the fields here, then go ahead and put them in the form down there. Okay, I'm not going to do that, just do it as an assignment to see if you are actually able to contribute to this project and make it maybe somehow. Right now, let me just concentrate now on getting this data now being sent somewhere. Okay, so how do we now handle sending of this data? Because after we have installed Prisma, actually there are some two things we need to do. If you look at the Prisma, after you have defined this here, just go ahead and they say to map your data model to a database schema, you need to use Prisma migrate CLI. So you have to write this command, okay? And of course, if you run this Prisma migrate dev, you have to pass in the name. Okay, so you can pass in the name, and this is the name they are going to give to this migration. So they are different. That's why they differ from. That's why they differ from the. It differs. And here, by the way, take a note. If you have not installed Prisma client, if you see in the steps in our documentation, there is where you're supposed to install Prisma client. Okay, you're supposed to install this Prisma client somewhere. Here. If you have not installed it, it will still install it, as you can see here. They say this generate or not. Generate is command under the hood by default after running Prisma migrate dev. And if the Prisma Next.js generator is defined in your schema, this will check if the Prisma client is installed and installed if it is missing. So let's just go ahead and run this command npx migrate dev. Okay, now you don't need to put this, but you could just put push dash dash. You put the name and then we init. So let me just use this. I'm just going to run this npx prisma migrate dev. So down here, just going to say clear. Okay, so just write npx prisma migrate dev. If you enter this, let me just move this up here. Now this command is supposed to help us push, okay, environmental variables loaded, Prisma loaded, blah blah. Let's see what they are going to ask us. They will ask us some questions and then we'll put them, but this is supposed to get our schema and push it to Supabase. Let's wait for it. Okay, I say data source db postgres database postgres schema at public blah 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 blah. I just wait for it. Okay, so you can see enter the name for the new migration. So this, just go and say here, create, okay, invoice, okay, create invoice table. This is the name I'm giving to my migration. Just you can put any name. I'm putting create invoice table, press enter. Let's see what they are going to do. And let me also minimize the files here. Okay, you will see that in the Prisma they will create some other files, and you can see that I've created this folder called migrations, and you see now they have created migration and they are running now generate command. Okay, so you say your database is now in sync with your schema, and now they're running the generate, and I think at this point they must be installing the Prisma client. Okay, so if you had installed Prisma client separately, they would have not reinstalled it here, but if you don't have it, then they will go ahead and install the Prisma client. Okay, so all what you're trying to say right now, or trying to do, is getting the schema that we defined in our database, in our schema here, this one. We are trying actually pushing this, pushing it to the we are trying to push this to Supabase. All these things happened. They went ahead and installed these packages, and what they were installing actually was Prisma client. Okay, so they see generated, the client was generated, and everything looks now fine. Okay, so now we could first check in our Supabase if something has happened. Just go back to the table here, the tables, and let's see if there is something. Okay, so you see tables 3, we have the invoice. Let's look at the invoice table. You see it has ID, company name, invoice author, all these details, they are here, and you can see it is simply a table. And then you have a row, okay, which is also having integer, item description, quantity, unit price, text, and all that kind of stuff. Now this one, Prisma migrations, this is by Prisma. You don't need to touch it or do anything or what about it. Okay, okay, so we can also view this table in our browser by running the studio. So you can just say npx Prisma Studio, as simple as that. So npx Prisma Studio. So this one will allow us actually view, okay, this you can see here, environmental variables loaded. So here this gives us this URL localhost 555, and actually it opens it, and you can see we have two tables. We have the invoice and the row. You can just click on the invoice and then they will show this. So you are having a copy, or the same thing you can view when you come to this site, you actually have it in your browser by Prisma. And that's some of the things, all advantages why we want Prisma, so that if you are working, you just simply worry about you don't have to worry about the database. You simply just actually start using here. Okay, so now I'm not feeling we should just continue from here. I'm just going to stop this episode at this point, and then in the next episode I'm just going to start from there, getting we have set up right now clearly. That's why I wanted to stop from there. We have set up right now, our Prisma is set very well. Okay, we have set our Prisma, we can see our tables, we can see them in Supabase. This is good, this is good. Okay, so in the next episode we are going to work on to one, we have to get all this data. That is the first thing. We send it to Supabase, we create the invoice into the database. So when someone clicks on create invoice, we have to show something like creating, we show a spinner here, saying creating the invoice or whatever. Okay, we have to do that. After we have saved this, of course we'll have it in this. So we'll create a page, which is actually this component. We'll give it a unique page somewhere. So we'll go and fetch that data. We have to create a table where someone can access this page, and then when he clicks on send, then we have to grab the URL and then send that one. And we might going to use NodeMailer for that. I will see which one we'll use, but we can use NodeMailer to send the emails. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the content, subscribe and share with others. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next episode.